You'll remember one day.
One last fails.
Yeah.
Or the TV.
Can't escape the
Good.
the left hand of yours.
Good morning again, everybody. So this is the bit where I talk for a little while, and after this little bit where I talk for a little while, we all talk for a little while. What I'm going to talk about today is hope. Hope. We have a religion. It's just wonderful, and it is a religion. But we have a practice that is a practice that is profoundly optimistic. Brings joy. It brings happiness. Brings relief from suffering. I was listening to something the other day, and that's what I'm going to start with. And this idea of hope came to me, and I remembered a line, a song of hope, which is, I foolishly went out and stuck that on the website as the title for today's talk, and then it didn't fit. But the old grey-haired guys in the room will recognise that, or may. This is a song of hope, said Robert Plant. And then Jimmy Page started playing his little riff, and we had a Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven.
Stairway to Heaven.
Does anybody remember laughter?
Yeah.
All right, that doesn't fit. That's not where we're going. but it gave me some struggles as I tried to figure out how to fit it in for a while. I was listening to a Sufi scholar, actually, and I don't remember where he started, but he went to the Prophet Muhammad, peace be upon him, had reflections on Europeans, and they were profoundly optimistic. He said there are 4 things that he thought were wonderful about Europeans, and he listed them, and then he said, and there is a 5th one, which is even more beautiful than the others, which is that they managed to hold in check the oppressive natures of their rulers much better than anybody else. This is like in 8th century. Wow! Europe was a complete mess back then. Wow! So this is just so optimistic. And it really landed here. And he said, he went on to say that what this was about, nobody, his words, nobody has affected lasting change, lasting social change, without appealing to the angels of our better nature. Now, of course, you could go to Genghis Khan and so forth, and there's change happens without that. But he's talking about the kind of change that I think we'd all feel connected with, social change, change that brings connectedness and happiness and contentment, without appealing to the angels of our better heart. Around the same time as I heard that, somebody pointed me to a video, one of these viral social media things that you've probably all seen and I hadn't, which was a water buffalo flipping a turtle. Have you all seen that one?
Yeah.
Google it. It's quite neat. It says that I'm not the only one who doesn't get hooked up on this stuff. That's good. So a water buffalo has these they're the big heavy things on their head, and the horns that come way out and curl around. They're just these enormous great things on their head. And it's in some kind of compound, so it's a zoo or something, and there's a turtle on its back on the ground. And the water buffalo, as it walks past, just tips its head down, and just the mastery of control of its horn to be able to do this, puts its horn under the turtle, and it flips the turtle over, so the turtle can then walk away. We see this compassion in animals. It's not the first time somebody's sent around these videos. I mean, we see animals expressing compassion to each other, and it's beautiful. And we have that in our hearts too. I mean, a lot of people, if they're in a crowd, they'd see that, well, turtle. But if you're on your own, it's much, people will bend over and turn over the turtle. It's there. It's there. The group of people that the Sufis I hang out, which is where this talk came from, they are a small, tight community. They have built something like 2,000 schools around the world. It's just amazing, and the change that happens out of this view on life is amazing. And they, for the last many years, they've been grotesquely oppressed by the Erdogan government. in ways that I can get into with if anybody's interested later. But through all of that, through having their family just incarcerated, people tortured and so forth, they've retained this optimistic outlook, and they've continued to look at the angels, to look for and connect with the angels in people's hearts, people's better hearts. Martin Luther King famously said, darkness cannot get rid of darkness, only light can do that. Hate cannot eliminate hate, only love can do that. And of course that second statement, second part of that, comes from the Buddhist tradition. Calls that Dhammapada. So this is Thanissaro Bhikkhu's translation of the Dhammapada, and that's in the first it's the first section. This has got like 20 or 30 verses in it, chapters in it, and it's in the first chapter. And the first chapter begins, phenomena are preceded by the heart, ruled by the heart, made of the heart. If you speak or act with a corrupted heart, that suffering follows you, as the wheel of a cart, the track of the ox that pulls it down. Phenomena are preceded by the heart, etc. If we speak or act with a calm, bright heart, then happiness follows you, like a shadow that never leaves. In a different place, we come across, I'm of the nature to grow old. I cannot escape growing old. I'm of the nature to die. I cannot escape death. I'm of the nature to get sick. I cannot escape sickness. Everything and everyone I love will be parted from me. My karma, my actions, are my only true possessions. I am what I do. So this landed on me, this resonated with me, really. This is about changing the world by seeing the angels in the angels of people's better hearts, right? But ultimately, I am what I do, and it landed really because I realized that I don't do that as well as I would like to do. It's so easy. We're in very difficult times, and it is so easy to see what's going on in the world with climate change, with people ignoring climate change, with political divisiveness, with injustice and inequity culturally and socially. It's really easy to pick faults, to notice what's wrong, to try and correct what's wrong, rather than focusing on what's right, focusing on what's good, and trying to come together from a place of love and compassion. And it's not to say bad behavior or injustice or inequity are okay, but it's where we place our energy in this. This is a wonderful, wonderful practice we have. When we sit on a cushion, we settle in, and most people who practice here will have some kind of breath-centered or stillness or concentration-centered practice. So when we settle in on our breath, when we settle in and perhaps move into absorption states, jhanas if you want, those are places where stillness arises. And yeah, it's possible to take those to this sort of this private world of peace. But that's the point when the Zen abbot would say, okay buddy, good as far as it goes, now go up and live in the hermitage on the hill. Take you about 2 or 3 years, and when you've had 2 or 3 years of chopping wood, gathering food for yourself, getting to know the animals around you, your heart will have opened. You won't just have this insight, you'll have the use of it. And then come back on down and we'll talk. And at that point, if somebody can reintegrate themselves in society, and they look functional like any other human being, but they just have this wide open heart. So this Zen practice, this high concentration practice, is also there heavily in the Theravadan tradition. The Theravadan tradition can take us down that path of heavy concentration. That's not the end. The end is when that takes us to a place where it opens back out and the heart breaks wide open. And the heart breaking wide open is what connects us to people, what allows us to function, what allows us to be in the world and to be part of this change. This change is about the happiness and the joy which comes from this practice. The end of suffering is joy. The peace that passeth all understanding is joy. There are many other practice approaches. One of the more popular, of course, is metta practice, and all the practices founded on the Brahma Viharas, and they are much more intentional around working on the heart. May you be healthy, may you have ease of body, may you have peace of mind, may you have the ease of well-being. These are heart-centered, and it's practicing from the heart and intentionally opening the heart. On Wednesday nights we're reading a book by Joanna Macy, World as Lover, World as Self. We'll come back to World as Self. And what she's talking about in that book, she's using sometimes a shorthanded approach, but basically she's using Buddhist principles and Buddhist teachings to land on not how we change the world, but how we can position ourselves to engage with a difficult world, how we can settle down enough to not be overwhelmed by the world. So the principles she's using are the same principles as, where was it? Phenomena are preceded by the heart, ruled by the heart. If you speak or act with a calm, bright heart, then happiness follows you. The change is here. And if we bring these practices of centering on compassion, centering on seeing into being, we change. And therefore, not so much that we are better equipped to be part of changing the world. The world changes. It has already changed. So this is a song of hope. We're all here. How do we start? It's a song of hope. It's all a song of hope. And it's just refreshing to remind myself to come back to that place of optimism and of and really it's just compassion. It's just compassion. So with that,